Hello, pro wrestling fans. I'm Josh Shernoff from So Says Shernoff on Fight TV. Modern Vintage Wrestling comes to you live September 15th at 4 p.m. from the Colossal Sports Academy in Voorhees, New Jersey, with an event called It's Always Wrestling in New Jersey. The night's card features exciting matchups and a who's who of independent wrestling talent. So let's take a look. LSG teams with Gabby Ortiz to face rival Jimmy Rave and a Gabby of his own in Gabby Gilbert. Forget the tables, fold up the ladders, and throw away the chairs because the Dawsons will face the heavy hitters in a doors match. I don't even know what that is, but I'd imagine come September 15th, we will find out. Spoiler, it's going to hurt. Also in action, Blackstrim goes one-on-one with Mick Moretti in what is sure to be a high-intensity encounter. The road to the Bruiser Brody Cup begins with this jam-packed qualifying match, a triple threat featuring Stockade, C.W. Anderson, and the inaugural Bruiser Brody Cup winner, the ECW legend, Tommy Dreamer. Did I just say ECW legend? Well, let me say it again, because ECW legend Sabu will be in action against Jason Kincaid in a true showcase of modern versus vintage. From the very beginning of modern vintage wrestling, Jason the Gift Kincaid has been the standard bearer. However, the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal legend from Bombay looks to show Jason Kincaid and the world that he may be a legend, but he is far from past his prime. Kincaid, who is the first ever modern vintage wrestling champion, is no stranger to the extreme, as he spent the better part of 2016 feuding with the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, culminating in a match that Dreamer would call the bloodiest match of his entire career. That match sent Kincaid to the hospital. However, that experience might just be what the Gift needs to combat the death-defying maniac, Sabu, in what promises to be the biggest match of Jason Kincaid's career. In tag team action, SCU's Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian will face the Unwanted's Joe Gacy and Colby Carino. The leader of the Unwanted, Eddie Kingston, has sent his soldiers to make their mark on these two pro wrestling veterans and godfathers of AEW. While SCU has the experience, the Unwanted have a chip on their shoulders and something to prove. Colby Carino was on a losing streak before being welcomed into the Unwanted. One would have to imagine that the last thing he wants to do is revisit that streak at the hands of SCU only weeks before they make their own history live on TNT. While SCU would love to say goodbye to the independent wrestling scene on a positive note, the Unwanted are certainly looking to provide SCU with a less than favorable send-off to AEW. And finally, Michael Elgon versus Joey Lynch for the Modern Vintage Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. A match over a year in the making. Originally, Michael Elgon was scheduled to take on Joey Lynch in a qualifying match to crown a brand new Modern Vintage champion, but due to contract obligations in Japan, Elgon had to pull out. Ultimately, Lynch would go on to become the Modern Vintage Wrestling champion. A year later, at Maximum Effort, Joey Lynch was set to defend his championship against Elgon. However, travel issues would take Lynch out of the match. On September 15th, these two men finally go one-on-one for the Modern Vintage Wrestling Championship. Joey has been successfully defending his title all over the country, while Elgon has recently come up short in his efforts to dethrone Brian Cage as the Impact World Champion. While that might provide the psychological advantage for Joey Lynch, the physical advantage may still go to Big Mike Elgon. We'll find out on September 15th at It's Always Wrestling in New Jersey. Well, there you have it. Do not miss this jam-packed night of professional wrestling action. September 15th at 4 p.m. from the Colossal Sports Academy in Voorhees, New Jersey. I know I'll be there. I look forward to seeing you there. And remember, it's always wrestling in New Jersey.